Hello and welcome to Rapyd Bytes. Today we're going to go over a payment request in Python. Rapyd is an API first company, and here in Rapyd Bytes we'll show you how to work with our API to accept, hold, and disperse funds in various countries using local payment methods. Be sure to subscribe or check out the links below to follow up on all things payments and fintech with Rapyd. So thanks again. We're going to be using a GitHub repository. It's a CLI Python repository. One of our team members has put this together. I'll just scroll over to show you. We'll start out on our documentation actually. This is actually our new just refresh documentation. You can check out the links. Get started. You can head over to make your first API call. This is a different payment request, or actually this is list payments, and then you can create a payment here in the next tab, in the next page here. This is also in Python. This is really straight from the code sample here. It's just as easy. Just copy it and execute it. But we are going to be doing and using this repository right here. This Rapyd samples, you can see github.com/rapyd dash samples, and then getting to here, you can see all of the files in Python.py. And so we're going to be creating a payment. Of course, this is using the API necessary to have any compliance regulations that you would meet when using the API, specifically PCI compliance and handling credit card information, handling personal information, and then we'll also retrieve the payment as well. And so I'm going to head over to some of our files. I'll just go ahead and close this. Oh, there we go. And open it up, and hopefully you can see that. Actually, I'll pop it a little bit bigger. Oh, maybe too big. And so this is actually the actual file. If you would head in there in GitHub, or just clone it and open it up, this is what you would see. Basically, we have the pathway here, and of course it does have the utilities file, so actually I can open that up. Let's see if I could do that. Let me list in the utilities, and so as that opens, we're just going to head over to actually it's opening in Xcode, which is what I don't want. I will just manually open it. And there we go. And so here we have, this is basically the request signature. And so right here, it develops the signature headers. Here's the crate headers. Let me see where, right here, here's the signature. This is what is necessary to calculate. Basically, when you are doing any API call, I can head over there with the documentation. You actually go down to developer resources here, and then authentication, request signatures. This is this same file, and of course it's in Python. So you're going to want to copy that, and as you make your first API call or make a request. And so what I'm going to do now, if I were to download this file in GitHub, of course you would grab the URL and clone GitHub, or git clone, and then paste the URL there of this website, or of this repository right here. And so after that's done, since I already did that, you would create your environment. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go pip3 install virtual environment. Just checking that installed. Some of this may have already been installed. M virtual M. Okay. And then Python 3 and pip install request. Okay. Now we are set to basically set up our environment and start making the requests. But I do want to make sure I grab my API credentials. And so, of course, you don't know how to do that. I will link, paste the link below. You would just go to, in our documentation, actually, we can go straight there. Go to the client portal guide. Uh, let's see, developers. And then this will teach you and show you how to grab them. You would log into the client portal. Here's the link here. Go to the developers tab and you'll see the credential details. You will just basically copy and paste in a secure location where you store your credentials. And so right now I'm just going to paste in an environment. And so what I'm going to do is write SB test. They're just going to be called SB test. And so here we have the access key, the secret key, and then sandbox.api. We did see if you go back to the request, the latter half of the URL here, what's going to be before that is sandbox API, and then .rapyd, or sandbox API, and then we have the utilities file here. So if we could find rapid dot, yeah, right here, rapyd.rapyd.net. And so this is the middle. The beginning will be, of course, sandbox API with the HTTP in the beginning. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click send. And so now we have the variable sets. And so I'm just going to test those variables, make sure we have those SB test, so that responds with the credentials for the API credentials, the access key and secret key. We have our keys. And so now we're going to go ahead and look at the create payment. Here we have the endpoint. There's the full endpoint. And so to actually get help and see what is needed for each API call, you can do Python 3 create payment .py-h. And so that's going to say with the positional arguments, I need the file name, which is, of course, this file create payment py with a dash, and then the environment. And so what I'm going to do now, I'll just paste this in. And so Python 3 create payment py, and then this is actually the file name of the payment. And so this is basically the request body. In here, we'll see that these are also in the repository. You could also create your own SB tests, and then -a is just the full request. Oh, let's see. Okay, and so here we get the successful response. We have the amount, original amount 100. This is the payment ID, so this is going to be useful for us later. Of course, it creates a customer token, and then it creates a payment method for this response. I love that. This is nice, and it saves what we used. So we could also include this if we want to make another payment, payment method type. Of course, this is the same ID here. And this is a bank transfer using Fast Bank in Singapore. That's what the SG stands for, currency and code. And so we've got this. We're going to go ahead and do the next call which is get payment. Okay, so I've cleared everything, and what I'm going to do now is retrieve the payment with the getPayment.py file. Of course, this is just retrieving the payment again. Here's the full endpoint, and the only thing required is the ID. So I can go ahead and go Python 3, get payment.py, make sure I include SB test, and then I can do -h. Again, this will give me what is required for the positional arguments token in the environment SB test. So I'll go ahead and do that again. Here's the token and -a for the full response. And so that is, again, going to bring up everything that is needed or that is basically in the response, the API response, when I include -a, which is all. And then again, basically we see the same response from the first payment. And so, yeah, I just wanted to include that process. Thanks for watching. We basically created a payment after cloning the response or cloning the GitHub repository. And then we send the request for a response, as well as after creating our environment variables, the credentials for the access and secret keys. And then we used the get payment file to retrieve the payment data. So if you have any questions, you could also comment below and go to community.rapyd.net, open up a topic. We'd be happy to answer your question, as well as this is a space to connect with other developers. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.